The school was closed. That's what I was told, and there's nothing they could do for me. So I went back to the HOD, and I literally had to beg him to give me an opportunity. So I asked him to say, if I don't get this opportunity, I was going to lose my bursary, which is a government sponsorship. And it was going to be devastating because I would wait for July intake or maybe next year. So he told me to write a letter and address it to the dean, but take it directly to his office. And that is not the formal procedure. Like, you literally have to take it first to the dean, then that's when you take it to the HOD. So I wrote my application letter, and when I went to the office, unfortunately, he wasn't in office. So I had to wait for like 3 hours, from 14 to 17 hours. There was nothing, and that was on a Thursday. And Pastor had declared that we're going to have breakthrough prayers. So I left the letters with the secretary, and I just left them. I'm like, I'm supposed to go to church. So I came here. I was so emotional. I was crying, and I'm just like, hey, I don't know if I lose this opportunity. I don't even know what I would do. So I came here. I was seated around there, but I was just crying the whole time during intercession and everything. So I just prayed that I prayed for a breakthrough through my academics, and when Pastor was declaring, I believed in faith, and I spoke to Pastor Mono afterwards, and then she told me about how one of Dad's testimonies where he had applied at a certain law firm, and he was chased, but then he went back and he was favored. So she told me, when you go there today, you're going to be favored. So I went there on Monday morning to the HOD, and he told me, I'm not very sure if you're on the list, but we picked people according to merit, so they had to calculate the GPA. So he told me to go back to the dean's office. I went there. There was a long queue, a very long queue. And I was just standing there, and then this woman comes from the office. I was praying to God. I'm like, Lord, I need favor. And then this woman just comes and points at me, you come here. So I was shocked, why is she calling me? So I went to the office, and she told me, I want you to go buy me lunch. By the time you're back, your issue will be sorted. So I was so shocked. So that's how I went to Mingling Bar to order lunch for her. And by the time I was back, I found my approval letter on her table. And yeah. And she told me that the dean hadn't worked on the other letters yet, but then she just had to take out my letter and work on it immediately. And she told me to go to the HOD to change my portal to the program that I had applied. And that's how I got my breakthrough and accepted in the school I was initially told was full. So I just want to thank God for breakthrough, and trust me, believe in the prayers and the declarations that Pastor declares on us, because they truly work. So I just wanted to thank God and thank my pastor for everything. Thank you.
Good morning, church. Yes, I acknowledge my man of God, Pastor Daniel Mamevis, in absentia, and all of the leaders. So my testimony is kind of from last year. So in November, well, not November, a bit before November, I was applying for a visa to go visit my sister. Then that visa usually takes 3 months. You're supposed to, let's say, apply 3 months before you want to go. Now I was delaying, and I didn't have all the qualifications to apply for the visa. So my sister was really upset with me, but I still applied because I was being lazy about getting that stuff. So I still applied for the visa, and I didn't have the main thing that was going to get me accepted, because the visa usually comes out 3 months later, and I didn't have those qualifications. So I didn't even have hope. I just applied without knowing anything. So that was 2 weeks before the November fast. So when I applied, when we just entered the November fast, the first week on a Wednesday, I got the acceptance for the visa. And it just reminded me of what Pastor talked about how what to take people a year for you to take months and days. So yeah, I was really grateful for that. And my second testimony is about the same November fast. And one of the prayer points was about how it was on businesses, and about how God is going to how God should increase our businesses and increase our customers, and that they'll be fully booked, and it will be, yeah. So I remember I prayed that so much, because my family was going through a lot in our business, because that was our kind of main source of income. So I prayed about that, and like I can testify, like right now, up to now, it's constantly fully booked. Like immediately someone leaves, a new like customer comes, like the rooms are always fully booked. So I'm grateful for that, and I just want to say like we should take these prayers that we have seriously, and we should always also take Pastor's word seriously. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I acknowledge all the leaders present. I don't take this opportunity lightly. Okay, so I'll try to shorten my testimony, but it's two testimonies merged in one. So I just want to thank God for how He came through for my academics and how He also used what was supposed to be, what the enemy wanted to use for evil. He used it for my good. So I had a rapture dream somewhere on the 3rd of January. Yes, so this dream was, I don't even know if it was a dream or a vision. It was so real. In that dream I remained, and I knew the actual reason why I had remained. Wait, so you would be shocked. The reason is very simple. So in that moment, in the dream, God showed me that I had remained because I had allowed my experience to make me grow bitter. I didn't even realize there was bitterness in me because that very period when I had the dream, I had an issue with my academics. I don't know, for the first time, my results were not okay. So it was showing repeat course. And I was like, repeat course in this course? Okay, I know last term was a bit rough, but I didn't expect to feel like at least I know myself. So that whole experience kind of got me off the edge, and it was a bit disturbing. So I believe because of that, because the day before I had the dream, actually on that very day, like during the day, what happened was when I was in the bathroom, it just was something that happened so fast. Like a thought came to my mind. I was like, so if these friends of mine call me to try to find out what's happening, like, you know, those people who maybe you trusted to be around in a very tough time, and they are nowhere to be found in that tough time. And then that thought was like, okay, so if I actually just didn't want like anyone calling me in that period. So I feel God searched my heart, and that was the reason why I had remained in the dream. It was just a trivial reason. But fast forward, I thank God because that dream brought out a revelation to me. It showed me that God is more concerned with the state of your heart. No matter what you're going through, everything that is surrounding you, whatever you're going through, it shouldn't get to you. It shouldn't weigh you down. You can have a concrete reason to be upset or a concrete reason to be sad in that moment, but if you allow that to be the reason why you are actually sad, you can actually miss the rapture. Just that simple reason. It's not even about you clubbing. It's not even about you going out, but that simple reason. So it showed me that God is really interested with the state of our hearts. And that really changed my outlook. It has changed how I look at things now. It has changed how I'm living my life now. And I also want to thank God because I found favor. In that very moment when things were tough in my academics, I found favor. The coordinator for our program, in that very course that was showing a D, I managed to have a chance to see him, and after seeing him, he showed me what had happened. He told me, no, your papers were missing, this and that, but he gave me an opportunity to sit for a SAP, which I just had to study very hard for it, and by God's grace, I cleared, and I'm now in 4th year, and I thank God for how he has just come through. I thank God for our leaders. I shared this with Pastor Flavian and Pastor Emmanuel, and they really helped me. They prayed for me. And so I'm grateful to just be a part of this church. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to acknowledge Senior Pastor Mamevis in absentia and all the leaders. Okay. So I'm calling my testimony a pastor revelation. So we were celebrating Pastor Mono on Wednesday, and I was actually supposed to attend the sale here in person, but I was traveling to Chongwe, and she asked me where I was going, so I explained everything, why I was going. So on a Tuesday, I started having very bad chest pains. I even stopped breathing properly. Then I had a dream. Pastor Mono came, then she was like, this is 01 on my birthday, and this is what will happen if you were to die on this day. How come I am being born and celebrated on this day and you want to leave? Then she goes like, I was delivered from sicknesses and diseases long ago, so you should accept the same thing, that you are going to live longer than the earth has said you are going to live. So she gave me water, then she goes like, do you remember the part of the systems of preservation? Pastor says, drink a lot of water. So this water you are taking, it's a replacement of Jesus Christ's blood. It is being replaced in your body through this water. By the end of tomorrow, you will be fine. And I am fine right now.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I would like to acknowledge my father in the faith, Pastor Daniel Kyra, Mom Mavis. I told you come. And all the leaders, thank you so much for this opportunity. And standing here today really isn't easy. I was supposed to testify during the systems of preservation under my man of God, my father in the faith. And yeah, I'm doing it today. So taking it back a bit, last year, 2023, as we started, I actually crossed over not feeling too well. And after the crossover, it actually got worse. And I was... I was rushed to the hospital. We can start the slides. That was me. That was me, literally, on the 2nd of January, 2023. And I was there for some time. After some time, I got discharged. And when I got home, for some reason, I started swelling. On to the next. We all didn't understand what was happening. You know, I wasn't well. I'm fine. Why is this happening? So my limbs started to swell. And, you know, they were trying to tell me what was wrong, but it just wasn't making sense. No, Nifi, no, take this, take that. I recovered from that, and then that happened. For over a week, I couldn't eat solid food. I went back to soups and juice. Ooh, guys, that way. And I remember Pastor coming home and praying for me and declaring things, and the year passed and I was fine, you know. I was good. The year finished and 2024, right after crossover, while still in January, I was, having the time of my life at work, doing what I do, taking bathroom selfies. And then all of a sudden, I get this sharp pain in my chest. And minutes later, I was literally on a hospital bed. So again, January 2023 and 2024 now, I'm in a hospital bed. I think I remember calling a few people, and almost immediately, Mommy Mavis called me and she prayed for me. In less than an hour, Pastor Andy was there. Senior pastor was there. And they were praying over me and they were holding my hand. Oh, Jesus. You will find people that love you here. It's not because I'm Deaconess Joa. People will genuinely love you here and they will come when you call. Pastor, I remember him asking me if I ate that day, and he got up and he went to look for food for me. As in, he went to a mall, moving around, looking for food so that I can eat. And there Pastor Andy was, holding my hand, praying the whole time, forcing me to eat. We had people sleeping on chairs. We had people sleeping on the floor. We had people missing work, taking days off for me. What I thought would be an observation for a few hours turned into weeks of being in a hospital. Days went by, and I remember this one day when the hospital I was at, they told me that they couldn't do much for me because they gave me everything they had, but then it wasn't going away. And they transferred me to a certain hospital that I will not mention. And they left me on a wheelchair for hours as I was screaming in pain. And the shareholders stole me. Because they just couldn't take any more, that I was in so much pain and I wasn't being given attention. So they carried me and took me to a different hospital, and almost immediately I was hooked to tubes. They had put an oxygen mask on me, and I was just there like, what is even happening? And I remember, please go back. Go back. I remember at one point I woke up because I was kind of like coming to, and then I don't know if I was fainting or I was blacking out, but I remember opening my eyes, and I had strangers around me because the other people were told to leave, and I told the doctor there, where's my phone? I need you to take a picture of me. I had so many things hooked on me. And she said, you want a picture? And I said, yes. She said, why? And I said, because I'm preparing for my testimony. She looked for my phone. I've never seen someone leave their job to do that. And I believe she's a believer. Dr. Rachel, I don't know if you know her, but say thank you, because that woman looked for my phone. But the shareholders kept my phone for days because, they needed me to rest as much as I could. And then I started to feel better. I went back to the bathroom selfies, as you can see. That was in a hospital bathroom. And they told me that I couldn't be discharged because I needed blood. I needed enough blood. 𝗧𝗛𝗘, thank you. because the response that we got, people had to be told, stop donating. I had pastors giving their blood for my sake. And there I was receiving blood that was donated by so many of you. We had to tell, Pastor Mono actually said, you can stop now. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I saw people go all out for me. I saw my man of God when sometimes he would be there at the hospital just praying over me, and when he wasn't there, he would send people. I remember this one time, nachanda nale black after the nabu kaka. I remember this one time opening my eyes and seeing Apostle Fred over me praying. And he said, your pastor sent me. Ooh. God just loved me so much that he put me in a place like Hof where I found family, I found friendship, I found love. Ooh. Thank you all so much, and my testimony today is my pastor. Senior Pastor Daniel 𝗙𝗢𝗛𝗛, because for me this is not just a church, it's a home. Because of Pastor, I have all of you. And I'm here today, and I'm standing, and I'm grateful for the prayers over me, because it's not just the people that came to visit. It was your prayers. I felt them. They kept me. They sustained me. It's the people that held my hand. It's the people that clothed me, that bathed me, that fed me. I had people coming from work to bathe me, to feed me. Pastor Mona still complains about a time that she had to divide in 4, and she was pleading, na papa Ooh, thank you again. And it didn't end there. I got better. I was out of the hospital, and if any of you remember the first breakthrough service that we had, Pastor prayed for me. He prayed over me again and again, and I remember I was on the floor for hours. As I was saying, Pastor said to everyone, they wanted to take